Okay, we are live again with a new training today inside the group. So get your notepads out. This one's going to be fun. So, if you are here watching or if you're watching the replay, make sure you tell me hello. I love to know that you're here. If you have any questions, please make sure you ask them using the comment box because there's no point in me training if I'm not addressing the questions that y'all have. Um, so I'm so excited for today's topic. I know sales calls get such a bad rap, and I'm here to kind of change your mindset on them and to help you navigate where to find the people to get on sales calls, how to conduct a sales call, how to make yourself feel comfortable, on all of the work that needs to be put in before you hop on a sales call with someone. Um, I think there is a misnomer in the online business space today that we don't have to do sales calls. Like, we can just put a link out there and everybody's going to buy, and that's just how business is done these days. And the reality is, I also get told that people want to be really authentic and really build relationships and have people get to know you and all of those things. And it's like, well, then get on sales calls. Right? Because, like, how else are you going to have relationships and talk to people and show them how authentic you are unless you are like chatting with them and talking to them and asking them the real questions and getting to know where they are in their business or in their life or whatever it is that you're trying to find out about them? You need to have those conversations, and it's really important to be able to do it in an authentic way, of course, but it's also important to know that sales calls can convert a ton of money for you. They if you do them well. And the first thing that I think I want you to know is that there is a in any business there is a need to conduct sales calls. Now, I think sales calls get a bad rap too because people think that uh, they need to like put it into a like a present, right? Like they need to wrap it up and like be like, oh, this isn't really a sales call. Have you ever like been on the receiving end of that? Like, you think you're getting on a call for something and then, oh, I get this. I'm being sold to, right? Um, Nobody, that doesn't feel good for anybody. It doesn't feel good for you. It doesn't feel good for the person doing it. It's just inauthentic. It's not going to work. It makes people feel yucky. That, I think, is why sales calls get that vibe, because you're basically feeling almost forced to say no thank you, like on the call, or you feel like you have to shell out some money even though you don't want to because you're getting like pressured into it. And I'm here to tell you that I've never once conducted a sales call that has felt that way. And I have never ever pressured anybody into buying anything on a call when they are asked me that like for more time. I've never given like quick action discounts. I've never done any of that. Like, it's just, if you are talking to me, I'm talking to you. We're human beings, and that's the most important thing to understand, that you can be authentic in the way that you deliver things, but that you can do it in a way that feels like you, but also do it in a way that makes you money. Like, why can we not have both? That's such a weird thing I get told by people, is like, I want to do this my way. I want to do it authentic. Like, great, be authentic, but why can't you be authentic and run a business? So, that being said, how are here's the other thing that is very important to understand about sales calls. More often than not, they are not a one and done type of thing. More often than not, I get on a second or third call with people um, because they need time, they need space, they need to have a discussion, they need to look into their finances, they whatever. Okay. There's a lot of things. So it doesn't have to be like, oh my gosh, we have 45 minutes, I have to close this deal. However, I'm also not getting on sales calls with people who are not my ideal client. They're not, I'm not getting them on a call and having time and spending my time talking to person and trying to convince them to buy. What I'm doing on that call is essentially listening to them, hearing what they need from a person like me, and then giving them that opportunity to hear how I can help them with that. If what I'm giving to them is real and authentic and I know I can deliver, there's nothing wrong with selling that, right? So then we talk about how that might look. Like here's the way that I work with people. This is the investment. Okay? And then it's usually, okay, let's do it, or it's okay, I need some time. But I'm not getting on a call with somebody who knows nothing about me. That I'm not getting on a call with people who are not my ideal client, and maybe I know nothing about them. So how do we find those people and how do you sift through all of the mud? Because that's important. Now, the first thing is, how do you find those people? Well, there's a lot of different ways and strategies to drive leads, right? So you can have some paid ads, you can build a community through Facebook, you can do YouTube videos, we can do, SEO, drive traffic that way. You can use other people's audiences. Simply networking and referral marketing is powerful. There's a lot of different ways to get yourself out there, but we're not going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about the next step. So once you have the offer put out there where it's like, hey, you can hop on a call with me. Like, here, you should treat that first introduction with a person as more of a discovery call. It should be a shorter conversation. It should be more of a touch, like if we don't know each other yet, like how are we filling each other out? That first conversation, very, very, very seldom do you talk about the ways in which you actually work with people. You're not talking about the offer, you're not talking about the investment. That discovery call is more or less are we a good fit type of thing. Another way, if you don't want to take that first call to kind of understand if that person is a good fit, is to offer an application, or even like if you have a software like Calendly, there's an opportunity to ask questions once somebody books. And I do this with every single one of my calls, even my clients. If you're booking a call with me, I want to know why. What are we talking about? Because I don't want to get on that call and be like, what's this about, right? Or I don't know what we're doing here. So if you're hopping on a discovery call with me, I usually know your name. I've done a little bit of research, looked into your profiles. I know your website. I know what your offers might look like. I know what your business does. I know if where you are kind of financially, all based on the questions that I ask. So I would definitely make sure that you're asking all of those questions for your sake as well. And just based on those answers, you can kind of say, "Oh, this is a good fit. I should definitely take this call," or "This is not a good fit. I don't think so." And here's another side note, is a lot of the times I've been told by other mentors of mine, like if somebody says like financially they're not making any money or whatever, a lot of the time they'll say they won't even take that call. My I've found that that's not a disqualifier for me. I'm not just here to make sure I convert you right now, but if you're financially not ready to work with me right now, that's fine. Maybe down the road, or maybe I can offer you some other situation in which that works for both of us. But it doesn't always have to be like oh, if this person, I can just tell they can't afford, so therefore I'm not taking the call. I actually don't like that at all. And I've actually had people that have filled out my form and said, financially, I'm not feeling comfortable to invest right now. And they have, because of the conversations I've had with me. So take what you want out of those questions, but what I'm trying to say is that you should have some kind of way to sift through to make sure that the person that's getting on the call is qualified and is the right fit for a discovery call or for a sales call. Now, if all of those things feel good, then you can continue moving forward with the sales call. The sales call, you have to understand that when you're talking to somebody on a sales call, you're both very clear it's a sales call, right? Like this isn't a bait and switch. The person that you're talking to who's sitting there and having that conversation with you, they are they understand that you are offering them something, that you have something for them to buy. And so it's really okay for you to sit there and say, like, yeah, like I'm offering you something. But the power move for you to be in the sales conversation is to listen, right? Sales and all of this is about listening and genuinely hearing what the person has to say and just asking simple questions like, where are you? What are you feeling? If you're a business coach, where are you in your business? What are some of the things you're struggling with? Where would you like to be 6 months from now? If you're a life coach, some of those questions would be the same, right? Where are you now? Where do you want to be? That painting that picture of here I am, this is where I'm at, but I want to get there. Those things can be really powerful. And the conversations and the things that people say are they're just painting the picture of why they need your services, right? So, for example, if somebody were to come to me and say, I am a business owner. I've been in business 6 months. I'm making like between $1,000 and $2,000 a month, but it's not enough for me to quit my job. I really am struggling with finding new clients and finding new leads. And, 6 months from now, I want to be out of my job and working in my business full time, making at least $5,000 consistently a month. Okay, great. You've just painted a picture. You've told me exactly where you are right now. You're telling me what you're struggling with, and you're telling me where you want to be. In response, as the person on as the seller, right? You're going to tell them, okay, great. Well, I hear that, and you're going to respond by saying exactly what you heard them say. I hear you're just starting out. You're making $1,000 to $2,000 a month, and you're struggling with finding new leads. You're not really sure where to go with that and what types of strategies to use. But you really want to hit their ground running because in 6 months you want to be out of your job and you want to be making more money, at least twice as much, if not more, so that you can consistently provide for your family and you can get out of that corporate job. Okay. So, really, the pain point that you're feeling right now is that you're not generating enough leads. What are you doing? And what's working right now and what do you feel like you want to do? Let them talk, let them share. The more they share, the more you understand where they are and the more you understand where they're coming from. It is your job to listen, simply to listen, and then to provide a solution. Well, I mean, that's what I do. I come from a digital marketing background. I help businesses and coaches and service providers to build their business using digital marketing strategies. One of those main parts of the funnel is to build a lead generation strategy. And whether you have some money to do paid ads or you want to take more of an organic approach, we can absolutely work through some of that and figure out what works for you, what, in terms of time and in terms of results. But I've gotten, and then you can give some of the results that you've given for your clients, making sure that you're being in integrity and that you're hearing and providing an reasonable solution for this person. Now, this person probably, if they're hopping on this call with you, already kind of gets and understands where you're coming from, what you're doing, and how you're helping people. They've done their homework. At least you hope so, right? You're not getting on a conversation or a call with somebody that has no idea what you do or how you can help them. So it's really just reaffirming that you're the expert in what you're doing and that you're offering a solution that maybe they don't have by themselves. Now, the scariest part of a sales call for many, many people is the talking about the investment, the money part. But if you know that you're offering a fair price and that the solutions that you're offering will return an ROI on that investment, then the person on the other end should absolutely understand that. Now, any chunk of money to invest in themselves or their business is going to be scary, but it's important to make sure you're transparent with your pricing. This is what you get with it, and this is how much I charge, and just let them sit with it. There's no having to over explain. There's no having to, have them, if they need a minute to think about it, let them think about it. If they need a minute to say, "Oh my God, that's scary," let them feel the feelings. Okay, that's really important in all of it. Now, another thing that's a very, very common in this type of work, and especially in high ticket sales, is that people need some time, or maybe they have a spouse or somebody else they need to talk to in regards to making an investment. And it's totally cool, and you should absolutely do that. I once was told, and this is the most disgusting thing, and I'm sorry to say that I fell for it, that if you're doing business by yourself, your spouse doesn't need to know what you're investing in, because if they had a business, would they tell you everything that they invested in? The reality is that if you're in a partnership, or you have a spouse, or if your potential client has a partner or a spouse, they have every right to talk to that person. They should absolutely talk to that person about making financial decisions. So all that to be said, if that person needs another call, give it to them. If they need time to chew on it, let them. The rule here is, though, to not give them too much time, right? So give them 24, 48 hours max. Get on there and set up a time right then and there on your call to follow up. Make sure that before you get off, you're not leaving it as, okay, well, I'll touch base and we'll get something on the calendar. No, no, no. You're scheduling right then and there. Okay. You are scheduling your next follow up call on that call. And you're going to get on the call, and maybe it's just a 15-minute follow up, but now they know. They know everything they need to know. They know how you can help them. They know how you work together. They know how much it's going to cost. And that follow up call is simply them saying yes or no. And usually what I found is by that second call, it's a yes. And it's usually a happy yes, because I've given them space, and I've given them time, and I've given them grace, and everything has been really thought about, and like everybody's just feeling really good about it moving forward. Okay. Now, I know I've just painted a picture of how to hold a sales call, but I'm going to tell you this: the first time you get on a sales call is really freaking scary. It's intimidating. It can be a little bit unnerving to be able to ask somebody, face to face for a exchange for money, right? It only gets easier the more you do it. You have to put your reps in, just like anything, okay? The first time you go live is scary, but the 100th time you go live isn't that scary anymore. But I wouldn't get to the 100th time if I didn't do the first time. So you have to continue to move forward. You got to just practice with your friends, practice with your kids, practice with your husband or your partner or whoever. Practice just filming yourself on Zoom, but getting the reps in and just understanding what you're going to say and how you're going to say it is a really important part of this. And it's not that you need to be scripted, but you need to say things the way that feel that you understand, the person on the other receiving end understands that you're the expert here, that you are very firm in your pricing and you feel good about it, and the things that you offer feel really good, and all of that. Like, there is a way to sell on a sales call that feels authentic. I've done it hundreds of times. In fact, there are very, very few instances. Anything that I'm selling over, I would say anything I'm selling over $500, I would say $500 is like the mark I'm getting on a sales call. Anything under $500, maybe it's a text or it's a DM conversation or an email back and forth, or they're just, yep, they worked with me before, so they're buying. But anything over $500, especially a service that I am providing, if I'm going to coach somebody, I would expect them to want to meet me beforehand. Nobody's just buying a coaching container from me without ever having talked to me before. It is a simple thing. So if you're selling anything high ticket, anything that you're infused in, it's likely that you're going to have to get on a sales call. Every time I've sold a mastermind, a high ticket program, um, or a one-on-one container, I'm typically taking a sales call to do it. And it's usually just people asking some follow-up questions, understanding that there's an investment involved. Like these people are usually 90% in already. Of course, I've had people say no on a sales call, or I've had a scheduled follow up and they've emailed me and they said, I've changed my mind. I'm not ready right now. Totally fine, right? But the benefit of being on a sales call with somebody is that they get to know you. And that's what everybody is telling me they want to run their business authentically. Then you need to take sales calls. But then they don't want to take sales calls because they feel like it's scary and inauthentic and they don't want to sell. It's just part of being a business owner. And I have converted, like I've said, hundreds of thousands of dollars getting on calls. And it's just part of doing business. The reality is if you have done your job in the nurture phase of your business, the nurture phase being warming your audience, continuing to add value and continue to like just build that know, like, and trust factor. By the time they book a sales call with you, they're usually going to buy. And so it doesn't have to be scary. It actually gets to be really fun for everybody involved. So all that being said, this is why sales calls are so important and so not and scary. Like get if you want to start making real money in your business, you're going to have a high ticket item. And if you're going to sell a high ticket item, you're going to have to be comfortable with taking sales calls. I'm typically taking at this point in my business one a day. At one point in my business it was multiple a day. It's just it is what it is. It's just part of business, and you want those calls, you want those people booking your calls so that you can talk to them and get to know them. And if they're not ready right now, great, that's fine too, but keep them in your world, continue to nurture. Maybe down the road they will be, but these are really important skills that anyone selling if you're a one-on-one coach in any capacity, getting good at sales calls is super, super important to making sales. So, I'm offering you an opportunity to get on a sales call with me, but not for me to sell to you, but for you to practice. So if you're like, I don't know, like, how am I supposed to say this? Let's talk through it. I love connecting with you and talking about this type of stuff because I really think that this can be a game changer in your business. If you are not booking any sales calls right now and you're selling a high ticket offer, then you need to start thinking about how you're nurturing your audience to get them on a call. And it doesn't have to be a paid ad. It just has to be a nurture sequence that warms people up and offers them an opportunity to get on a call with you. So if you're not at the very least, having one sales call a week, then this is something you need to start considering in your business. And that's something I can absolutely help with. So book something with me, shoot me a DM. I've also included, if you're interested, a script for the sales call. It's more or less of a guided walkthrough of how to set yourself up for success on a sales call. So if you're interested in getting that, just shoot me a DM and we can talk about all of it. But I just hope that this has reframed how you think about how you're going to move forward in your business, how you're going to make some sales, because it doesn't have to be scary. If you've done your job right, the people on those calls are already with their credit card in hand, wanting, waiting for you to be the one they get to work with. And that's the most authentic thing that you can be in your business, is having done the work up front so that they get on a call with you and you don't even have to say anything, and they're just like, yep, I'm gonna do this because I know you can help me. And that feels so freaking cool. Okay, that even you could give me all the money in the world, but when somebody wants to work with me, that feels cooler than the money they give me, if you know what I'm saying. Like, it just, ugh. And I want you guys to feel that too. So if you are selling anything above $500 and you're not taking sales calls, or you're not booking the sales calls, if you're not getting at least a couple a week, then you have a problem with your nurture sequence, and we can talk through all of that too. So you know where to find me. Shoot me an email, shoot me a DM, shoot me a message on Facebook, anything. Just tag me in the comments and say, book me for a call. I will reach back out and we can get one on the books. But hopefully this was helpful for you, and I'll see you all next week.